Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to welcome a remarkable individual whose life and work have inspired countless people across the globe. Moaz Khan is a distinguished blind leader, advocate, and motivational speaker based in Austin, Texas. His tireless commitment to advancing the rights and opportunities with the individuals with disability has made him extraordinary impact both nationally and internationally. Mr. Khan has served as a mentor and speaker at the prestigious institutions such as like University of Texas in Austin, the University of Houston, the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and the Department of Aggressive and Rehabilitative Services. His powerful story and advocacy efforts have been featured in 2 documentaries and highlighted in international publications. With a Bachelor of Degree from the UT Austin, a Master of Public Administration from the Texas State University, and advanced leadership training from the Health and Human Services Executive Leadership Academy, and most recently, executive training in the nonprofit leadership from Harvard Kennedy School, he has demonstrated that determination and purpose knows no limits. He is the founder of and the president of VN Without Barriers, a global nonprofit organization empowering people with disabilities, and also founder of the Falcon Mediation. Along with his professional accomplishment, Mr. Khan is a passionate sportsman with a love for fitness. He spends hours in gym every day, holds a 3rd degree black belt in Tae Kwon-Do, serves as a martial art judge, and have done so many things, including bicycling. Moaz Khan's Your Journey is nothing short of inspiration. Welcome to the Ankahi TV channel today.
Thank you, Dr. Asaf, for having me.
My first question to you is, Moaz Khan, looking at everything you have accomplished, from founding a global initiative and shaping disability advocacy, in achieving excellence in the education, leadership, and even martial arts, it's clear that your story needs attention. How did you have accomplished all these things in such a short way? And kindly share with our audience the challenges you had as a blind individual.
First of all, Dr. Asaf, once again, thank you for having me. And when looking at this is a multifaceted piece of it. For me, hope, fear, 2 things that are sort of shaped. So for the hope piece of it, at the Harvard Kennedy School, they asked the same question from me as well. Where do you generate that hope from? So looking at the hope, I think Desmond Tutu explains it the best. He says something like this: hope is what allows you to see light beyond darkness. For me, it was a faith-based piece of it, having faith in the unknown, what you don't know. But that hope was also, for me, that hope, when I was differently abled, was derived from my parents, family members, mentors, elders, many, like I can name, like other than my parents, like Colonel Anwar Lodi, there is General Farouk, there's quite other individuals that have shaped my growing up, my being ability to stand. So that's one part of the hope piece, right? And the second thing is fear. We automatically run into this fear element. Now, fear can take you in a very weird way into a threat-based environment. But you can look at the fear from a challenge standpoint. I looked at it myself, fear as a challenge, not as a threat. So that challenge allowed me, I looked at every obstacle like not as a stone, but as a stepping stone. So that was the first part, like the hope, right? The hope that all the people around me that have helped me stand straight. Second part that allowed me to navigate the challenge is failure. It's the failure. Failure is the best teacher. Have I failed? Absolutely. Failed I have, and at multiple places. But I always say this. When I fail is what motivates me to actually start working. Till that happens, the worst thing or the best thing you can do to me is say you cannot do something, and at that point I start. So hope, challenge, and then of course failure is what really thrived me and allowed me to keep on moving forward. So that's how I was able to come to where I am.
Very well said. Moaz Khan, there are so many non-profit organizations working around the world. Each has its own mission. What makes VN Without Borders stand out, and how do you see is different than other? And how do you see that your challenges in running this organization?
As a president for Vision Without Barriers, I am in a position to actually explain this. I think how we set apart from lots of different nonprofit organizations is like this. A lot of organizations are built on infrastructure. We are built on the value. We don't. The way we look at it is one person at a time. When you lift one person, you lift an entire community. We don't have any sophisticated funding methods or buildings or things like that. What we do have is when someone needs help, they need help, they come forward with this, there is a need for lifting them. That's where we focus. That's how we are different with one person at a time. That's how I think we are different from the other organizations around us.
Thank you. You and your organization have embarked on a very challenging mission. What do you believe makes you the VN Without Barrier unique, qualified to celebrate and change just you have talked about?
I think what puts us in a unique position is, it again goes back to the fact that one, I am completely blind and 50-60% hard of hearing. I have walked through those steps myself. I have seen it firsthand. But I think what makes us unique is our model of providing service. The way we have set up is this way. It's like paying forward. If you're someone out there that can change something or has the ability to provide help, you know what? You do that. In Vision Without Barriers, we believe you can help us do something, great. Please put that brick forward. If there is something we can do, we step forward. It's a social services model at the same time paying forward model. I think the impact is based on that, because what it does is it amplifies our ability to do more. It doesn't say that, you can give one thing to somebody and that's the end of it. No, it doesn't work like that. What it does is it helps you connect. You will find out, we help this person here, but at the same time, there's another individual there. Let me introduce you to them, to connect all of the pieces together. And that's what allows us to be impactful in our endeavors.
That's great. You have launched several impactful programs throughout your organization. Could you share some of your key projects and initiatives and the kind of change they are creating on the ground?
I'll try to see if I can set apart the two. So we have done some great projects which are institution-based, such as we have done some work at the Government College, University of Lahore in Pakistan, where we created a state-of-the-art adaptive equipment lab. We also have embarked on a project with Lahore College for Women in Lahore, which is an ongoing project for our women initiative. Along with that, we have also done some work with Sunrise School and then Rising Sun operated in Lahore. So to gauge that those projects, what we have done, we haven't reinvented anything. What we have done is we have supplemented the existing structure so it performs optimally. New technology, adaptive technology skill that allows differently able students to become more independent. Along with that, what we have done is we were also able to, first time, complete R&D in Pakistan for to manufacture state-of-the-art white canes. And there's one in my hand. It's a folding white cane made of aluminum. It's lightweight. Every individual that's visually impaired blind that needs a white cane, Vision Without Barrier provides them one. Now, our macro level, our institutional level, we have those projects. But on an individual level, we are also providing white canes, training, soft skill trainings, how to use computers, how to use screen readers, text to speech, speech to text, mentorship pieces of it. We have a project right now about mentorship beyond borders. We're collaborating with organizations in Sri Lanka, some in Australia, US, and of course in Pakistan. And together, how do we connect them? We are also right now in the process of connecting with employers. So is it good enough to just provide technology? The answer is no. Where do you go with it? So every project that we do, it has quantification of impact. How is it impactful to somebody? Did we just put a fixture there? Or what does it do? Where does it take you? So a lot of that, we have students that have come to us and provided an example. Let me share an example with our viewers, that students that before had to go out of the university to take exams now can sit in their own special students lab and take those exams themselves. So it just helped them take that barrier out of their daily life, and they can do that. They don't have to buy their canes. They get them. There's also an ample of awareness seminar that we have started. It's a work in progress. We are running into a few snags in the region, but it's definitely fuels us to do more. So those are some of the projects that we have in the region in Pakistan at this point.
That's great, Ms. Khan. You had the chance to observe the non-profit organizations closely. How would you describe the current health of the non-profit sector in Pakistan? Or do you feel that these organizations are truly deserving and doing a great job? And do you then think that they need a change?
It's almost prejudicial, but I will say it as a charity administrator, as the president for a nonprofit organization. Harvard Kennedy School teaches this. They say that the nonprofits have to self-regulate themselves. So I'll take this opportunity to share my opinion. It's not against one specific nonprofit, but rather the health of the temperature. In my opinion, there is a great need in the region, and nonprofits close that gap of where private-public partnerships fail. That's where the nonprofit comes in. What it is we have a great need, but we also have greater nonprofits. Problem is, not one nonprofit is connected to the other in a meaningful way. There are MOAs, but the collaboration and partnerships are not closing the gap. There's no quantification of impact. We are basically replicating services over and over again, rather than quantifying or picking up where the last one left off. Almost like right hand does not talk to the left one. The need is going. It's, if nonprofits are effective, the need should be going or at least stabilizing. What it looks like to me at this point is nonprofits have great initiatives. The value is there. The long-term sustainable outcome is not. And outcome is not necessarily impact. Numbers don't really always tell the true story. You have to have macro and micro level understanding. In the nonprofit part of it, in the region, I think there should be a greater level of collaboration. There should not be replication of the same mission over and over again. So I think that's what I think where we are at this point. As far as are they deserving? Of course, the work they're doing is deserving. But how it is done, I think it's the job of not only nonprofits, but donors, stakeholders, to actually evaluate and see where they are contributing or providing their help. Where does it go and how is it distributed and how the impact is delivered to the clients?
Yeah, that's great. Mr. Khan, many families with blind or disabled individuals face unique challenges. For your perspective, what do you think we need to do for their emotional, they have an emotional setup. And how do you want to deal and how do you come out with with supporting such families?
It's like charity starts at home, justice is next door. We have to have acceptance. And I think before we even look at the more difficult element of the socio-emotional element of it, it's our family. We have to have that acceptance within the family structure that understands that your differently able family member or household member is perfect the way they are. They are not someone you shouldn't be hiding them. You shouldn't be looking at them like, oh, I have to do all these extra things. No, it's normalization of it. That is what creates a problem, is when they don't know how to deal with it. The dilemma, how do you support them? They're lonely. Large number of differently able individuals feel lonely because they're segregated, they're isolated. It's not that because people don't want to help them or they don't want to do it. It's just the fact that they don't know how to do it. What we can do this is like this. If you have a blind individual, do activities that involve them. You may have to do a little bit of different or find a way. Include them. Don't put them on a chair on the side and say, let me bring you something. Rather than walk them through, describe things for them. If they cannot hear, you can have a book, you can write as you talk people so they can see them. So, that's what I think we need to start at a grassroots level from the family standpoint about emotional piece of it. I mean, this is one of those questions one of those elements that will and does spill over multiple places, from home to your community to schooling and everywhere else.
That's very well said, that social attitude often shape opportunity. How do you describe the society's view the people with disability today?
I think in one of the scriptures, it's written, disabled are neither damned nor holy, but they have a special connection to God. So a large number of places, they're like on the extreme parts of it. They look at them, they're special. Let me help them either as a way of some kind of a charity, or they are defective. That's generally how people view it. It is never looked at from a standpoint of they are the perfect creation by the divine architect, different features. So society will look at them that way because lack of exposure. I don't call it ignorance, I call it awareness. I think a part of that is we have to take that time to unmask that stigma. So the way society looks at them is they are just part of the society, less performing with a contemptuous attitude, and may not be intentional. I think it's more habitual, something that come through a long time of lack of awareness, and just like that. And it's changing, but that's the current climate or image or judgment by the society to the differently able community at this point.
Moaz Khan, from your current experience, how does the challenges faced by different blind people, individual in Pakistan, are apart from the world, and what do you think that can be done for them?
I think it's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that question. It's pretty interesting, and I'll share a couple of examples as well. Human thinking doesn't change across the board. First of all, if one says, oh, this happens in Pakistan, doesn't happen in US, you would be dead wrong on that. And I'll actually share an example. Most recently, I was at the gym, at a 24-hour fitness gym, and I asked this individual, I said, hey, could you please tell me where the bench press is? He said, oh yeah, I can. And I have this cane, long, about 62 inches long cane, and he grabs on one side of the cane. Just imagine for a minute, he's holding from one end and I'm holding from one end, and we're walking through this gym, and people are like jumping out of the way, and he's like, we're here. He's like, you got it? I said, I got it. But you may not want to do that because you don't want to touch the cane. The cane is there to guide. But his lack of knowledge about how to guide is still the same. It's human thinking. What the challenges in Pakistan are a little different, and challenges certainly in the US are different too. So I'll zero on into the challenges in Pakistan. The challenges in Pakistan is based on lack of unified or standardized infrastructure. You would not have footpath or sidewalks which are properly, they're not properly built. So you can't really tell how wide they are. The cane may not be tactile strips on there. Websites are not really 100% WCAG, World Content Accessibility Guidelines, compliant standards where your screen reader would read it. You may have one interpreter for 8 or 10 deaf, hard of hearing individuals. Your bathrooms and the universities they're not equipped for wheelchair accessible. So some of these are bigger level things, right? But along with that, I think what plagues us is the segregation. We are still, I think, in that part about separate but equal. I walked into Government College University. I saw a group of very happy, differently able individuals, but they were all on one table and everybody else on separate tables. I mean, these guys are happy, but they're not part of that. So that thinking shift is a challenge that we have there. In US, they're a lot more inclusive. And I think that is because of the confidence level that has been fostered. Part of that goes with that other conversation about policy. And in Pakistan, the policy is there, just not implemented to help them. So I think those are some of the challenges in Pakistan: access, infrastructure, and awareness.
Mr. Moaz Khan, when it comes to supporting the marginalized community, including people with disability, what do you think who should be holding the greatest responsibility? In your opinion, is it the government or the civil society? What is your take on that?
We stand on this planet, right? And I think again, referencing Kennedy's quote on this, they talk about this piece of the pie. They say we have this piece of the pie, and whenever we take more than our share, we mess the balance up. Everybody has the responsibility to do their part, but to the greatest level of burden, I'll put it that way, or the sheer responsibility starts from home. It takes a village to raise a person. It's same goes the community-wise. The greatest level of responsibility is family first. They are the biggest advocate. They have to accept and change. It's one household that changes the tone for that one community. And that one community is the one that shapes how it trickles down your education institutions, your work environment, even your local shops. So that awareness has to come from within the family. It is not a contempt or a reward. It is just right. When we say, and I'll quote some of the things that I've heard, somebody has a special needs kid, we say, oh, they are blessed, they have a special kid. Well, we are all blessed. Children are a blessing of God. How did that balance throws off? Or flip side, they have a special need kid, they would lock them or leave them or hide them from others. That is where the responsibility lies. That it has to start from home, and from there trickles out. I think that's how, in my opinion, it should go down.
Very well said, Mr. Khan. Education is very important. To empower a person, you have to give education, and that so is equally holds for blind people. Do you think in our university and schools there are enough arrangements to educate the blind people all across the globe?
I think we have done good job. And if I would sit here today and tell you that we're not doing a good job, look, progress is always slow, but it has to remain continuous. I think it's Einstein has this idea that never stop someone who continues to make progress, no matter how slow. It's happening. GCU provide free tuition. I think recently UMT was looking into that. Quite a few institutions do that. But allowing, facilitating that admissions, is that all? Look, here's the thing. Earlier on, I was talking about the challenges between Pakistan and US. The opportunity of need versus opportunity of want. We don't allow these individuals to dream for the opportunity of want. We go on the opportunity of need. This is what you have, take it what you can. And these schools will say, okay, if we only have an educator who can teach a blind individual in a specific course, they'll do it. I'll use an example. Math and science. We have received several inquiries from people, from students saying, how do I decipher an equation for physics class? Well, JAWS screen reader has a special MathML software which does decipher that. But we don't have a licensed software in the universities. So it wouldn't do that. So students are told, you can only take these courses. Or better yet, send them to Urdu or poetry and let them do shairi. The thing is that they shouldn't be pushed based on what's available, rather than they should be allowed to explore their dream. Educational institutions that are supposed to sort of tweak and guide and facilitate your journey for future. Universities are facilitating, but they're not owning the responsibility for success which they should hold. I'm not saying universities are responsible to getting people jobs. What I'm saying is they should be able to be that support behind them that prepares them so they can take that next step. I don't think that is happening. It is getting there, but it's not there yet.
Right. Beyond these personal and social, challenges, what are the greatest systemic barriers in education and employment? And how do you think that can be accessed for blind people, in your view, in today's modern age?
I think this is a very one of those most essential questions that as a blind individual, also as an employed individual, I think I'm qualified to answer this way. So employers certainly have to accommodate you and facilitate you, but they have to know, right? What should they give you? What do you need? The largest problem that we see across the globe, and specifically in Pakistan, I'll talk about, differently able do not know what they want or what they need. Do they really know what they need to deliver a result? So knowing what would help you requires you to know your own need. And once you know that need, the employer will be more than happy. And we've interviewed quite a few institutions in Pakistan, employers like Pakistan State Bank, Habib Bank. There's few. I was at a career fair at GCU, and I did not come across a single employer who said we wouldn't hire. What they said was this: it would be our honor to hire a differently able, but we don't know how. How do we do that? What do we need? That's the vacuum. That's the elephant in the room. And where should that information come from? I think that responsibility falls onto a differently able. When I walk here, I was to ask, are there stairs? What do I need to do? Am I looking straight in this camera? Or, when I will be required to sit in the office, what would it look like for me to deliver to the stakeholders? Differently able students have to acquire self-awareness, self-need. Even God says, ask me. You have to know what to ask, right? It's the same concept that you're going to need. And I have to sometimes reinvent what I need based on my specific need to my employer. So I think that's one of the issues we are running across employees to employer or prospective employers. And of course, everybody has a part. Employers should also seek, there's lots of summits worldwide, how to be more inclusive employer. And it gives you a greater level of talent. And it is, and I'll take it and I'll advocate this. Generally, not all, generally, differently able employees perform twice as much when they are properly provided accommodation.
Yeah, this would be a good time if I ask you about your own personal life, how you got employment and how you fulfill your daily work and how you are appreciated at your work.
I have several really funny stories on that too. So I currently am employed as a manager for a large state agency in Texas. And it was just like rest of the world. Stigma and first opportunity for somebody looks at a visually impaired blind individual, they're like, I don't know how he's going to do his job. I ran into the exact same thing. My first position with the government was a contract-based position. It was a short-term position, and I said, I'll take it. I was a University of Texas at Austin graduate, a very great university. And the group of people I got hired with and the people I worked with, I was the most apprised individual. But the position was an opportunity. It allowed me to get in there. My mindset was this: once I get the job, I'm not going to ask them to make an accommodation, I'll make my own accommodation. And I sure did. And let me give you an example. I needed to look at, and I had some vision. Right now I'm completely blind. I had like 10, 12, 15% vision, and I use these big magnifying glasses. And I needed to look at these sheets, rows of Excel sheets, and I had to hold like my hand, like I had to hold this really close to my face. So my dad one day looked at it and he said, well, he said he saw that one of those telescopic lamps at a Home Depot hardware store. He said, what if we put a clipboard in front of it? I said, well, let's give it a try. We got it. So every day, so what we did was that clipboard would get next to my desk, we clamped it down, and it would come to my face, and I would look at it like this, and I would look at the computer like this. For first, it was very difficult. At the end of the day, my head would hurt, my neck would hurt. I did that for a few years. But what I did was, I performed so well that the director asked me himself, how do you do that? They saw that. I wasn't allowed to keep anything in the at my office. So every day, I would take that whole equipment, carry it with me on a bus, change 2 buses, and go home and bring it back next morning. And so that was the starting of how I started doing my job. It was the same way I moved to multiple different government organizations here, and I worked for the Health and Human Services Enterprise, one of the largest enterprise out here. And I worked at every level. And it is also important to mention that your mentors and your leaders do shape you. It is not necessary to just talk and do. It's also to sit and learn. My boss told me, learn everything from ground up. I learned everything from the clerical staff to up. I actually fought with my boss. I don't need to do that. I can't see this. She said, find a way. You better get this. If you want to be in this position, you have to learn to figure it out. That was 15 years ago. Today I oversee a very large group of people, and you go through with it. There is no such thing as you cannot do it. If you cannot do it, find a way to do it. So that's my journey.
Very well said. Have you heard that Moaz Khan has told, if you have will to do it, you can do it. But Monty, it's very difficult for a blind man to be independent. Can you share with our audience, the people with disability who are blind, how can they live independently and how can they sort out their things independently?
First of all, I'm overjoyed by the opportunity to speak here. But the fact that people want to know this, and that as a blind person, I'll share this. I'll tell you this. Learn to run into a door. And so you will learn to figure it out. I tell you, I live alone. I'm a big foodie. I can make everything from chicken kadai to a very amazingly well-prepared steak. I wear suits. I work out. I have lots of friends. How does that happen? Just like that. Everybody says, you should have a backup plan. Why not a plan to move forward? What is this fall back plan? Learn to have a fall forward plan. The first time you run into a door, next time you'll know it's there.
Where the door is.
So to be independent, don't wait for your father or your mother or your parents or your friends to tell you, don't open that cane, or no, let me make it easy for you. Because I tell you, nothing worth in life which is easy is worth doing. Then might as well just sit on your hands. That makes you a very dull person.
Right.
Look at your dreams. And so try to do difficult things. Don't try to do easy things. Anybody who says want to do easy things, okay, once I retire, yes, I plan to do some easy things. Right now, I am on that drive, and that my job is to do difficult things, and I love doing that. And that's what thrills me. Take that risk.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Moaz Khan, you have a very special instrument in your hand, the white cane. And to my understanding, this white cane has revolutionized blind people. It almost as if they have eyes. And can you share the white cane with our audience and tell her the details about this amazing invention, white cane, to our viewers?
Absolutely, and I am overjoyed. So this is made of aluminum. It's a folding aluminum white cane. This is a folding cane. It has a tip in front of it, which rolls, a marshmallow tip. It has a very nice grip, it's called a golf grip. White cane has three purposes. It's to identify I am blind. And the reason why, and I love the fact that you say it revolutionized you, because think about this. It's the acceptance inside out. I am blind. We have a huge stigma. Don't call somebody blind. Don't be contemptuous about it. It's a fact. I cannot see, or I can see less. But you know what? That is a feature you have. So the cane identifies who you are. It also detects object, and it also protects you. The detection of objects. I don't know if it's general populace aware of this or not. You can tap it, and it tells you the type of floor you're standing on. Is it wood? Is it hollow? Is it stone, concrete? Door is made of wood. The sound it makes, it tells you the type. There's a 2-point touch. I'm not saying you go around swinging around hitting people. I'm not saying that. There's a technique, sophisticated technique to walk when there's a lot of people. When I walked up here in steps, it told me those steps were smaller, how far apart they were. The cane allows you to gauge how far something is from you. It is like your eyes. Now, people have sometimes law enforcement in Pakistan said, "Sir, if you're going to allocate these items to people, they're going to beat us with it." And he was, of course, I'm sure he was being humorous. It is for protection too, and protection is not against people; it's against yourself. Don't run your head into something intentionally. That's going to hurt you. And trust me, I can tell you, I actually have a bruise on my face because I didn't pay attention. I ran to a door. I didn't have a cane in my hand.
Wow.
The cane has to be there to protect you. So that's what a white cane is. And I will say this is the moment. Anyone around the globe, and especially in Pakistan, if you don't have a cane or you're unable to get a cane and you are visually impaired blind, talk to someone at Vision Without Barriers. We'll get you one.
That's a very generous offer. That brings you to a question, is if every blind person has a white cane, they won't be blind no more. Do you think at present time, what percentage of blind people have white cane in their hand, both in globally and in Pakistan?
And it reminds me of this amazing concept. Helen Keller was a very firm advocate, and she has these fine words. It goes something like this. Only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. So, vision to be independent. I'm a big numbers person. I believe World Health Organization said something that it is like 286 million or 290 million people are blind worldwide, about 3.6% of world's population. What percentage of people have white canes? I can estimate, because the data is not out there, less than 40%. And if you have to ask me about Pakistan, I'll tell you it's definitely less than 50%. A lot less than 50%. And what they have is not even a white cane. It's a tool or some sort. The worst thing I saw was a shower curtain rod that was being used as a white cane, or a steel rod with electric wire wrapped around it with some white tape. Great workaround, but it won't give you that feedback. So I think the cane does make you sighted, but what it does is it also gives you that vision of independence. So just think about that. The question, that's such a great question. The number of blind people that don't have white canes. That is a story of us moment, how much more work we need to do. And next time when you're driving or walking around and you see somebody grabbing somebody's hand, take a moment and see if they have a white cane. And if they don't, they need one. And if it's folded, it needs to be open. So it shows them, I'm blind and I'm part of your community.
Very well said. And those people who are saying is, if you support Moaz Khan's charity organization to help blinds, this will be appropriate to support his organization so more and more people can get this white cane. 50% still needs a white cane in Pakistan, and globally a lot of people needs that. Giving a cane, white cane, would be the giving an eyes and vision to that. And this is the best way you can support his organization. And Moaz Khan, these people who are blind, they are part of our society. They do provide leadership, mentorship. What do you think the role of a blind persons are in providing this kind of leadership in our society?
I think, and again, I'll speak about myself, and I think this is like saying, taking it on a chin kind of thing. Differently able and especially blind people, we always say, I didn't get opportunity. They didn't do something for me. They didn't include me something. An important element, a question that you have to ask is, what have you done to include yourself? I say this, and people ask me, they're like, man, by the way, I have a guide dog too. So I attract people based on my dog, but also based on my cane. And I say, you love my cane or you love my brain? And the thing is, people don't know how to approach a differently able or a blind person. Think about it. Human psyche, the unknown. Unknown creates anxiety. Our faith says, have faith in the unknown, right? For blind person, anxiety piece of it triggers them too. If they hold your hand, you're going to be mad. How do I guide a blind person? So as a blind individual or visually impaired or differently able, you take that first step. If they ask you, do you need help? Sure, I was trying to get there. Would you like to walk with me? Take that seize that opportunity. Tell them about yourself. Don't wait for them to ask you how you do something. You are the ambassador. You are the differently abled. You are that specially amazing class that makes you be on top of that. You know better. Take that first step. Tell them, how do blind people do? I can read about 300 words a minute. I can go through a 400-page book. Probably I read a book a day kind of thing. A lot of people don't know. And when you tell them, they don't believe. They're like, how? Show me. My pleasure. Let me turn off my headphones, and when I show them how fast a voiceover reads or JAWS reads, they're fascinated. They want to know how they can read a book a day. How can they have something that tells them how to measure how much haldi or turmeric you want to put into your dal? How do you figure out how to burn hand? They want to know. You have a whole lot more options as a differently able person in your hand than you give yourself credit to. We think about, oh, they think I'm blind, I'm disabled. That's your thinking. That's the ailment we have, and I'll quote it. सबसे बड़ा है रोग क्या कहेंगे ये लोग? The ailment of what are people going to say? Well, people will say what they say. Let them say. The best part, you don't see them. If they're rolling their eyes, you don't see them. They go red, that's their problem, not yours. But you take that first step and tell them about you. What makes you so amazing that you're standing? You're here, you're on the planet, the divine ruler puts you there. But don't wait for the other person. Don't put your burden onto somebody else. Own it. You're differently abled. You have a whole lot more to give than take. So give more by educating others around you. Introduce yourself and don't be embarrassed. You'll get good at it by telling people your story. So that's my message to differently able people. Take that first step and tell about yourself.
That's great. I think this is one of the most fascinating message I've heard. You know, Moaz Khan, you have broken so many barriers and you have gone way beyond other people. And this would be a good time, those people who are blind, what message you want to give them, how to overcome their challenges?
Don't take the easy way out. Rewrite the rules to do the right part. You don't have to follow rules that don't apply. That's what leadership looks like. People say, oh, I won't get the opportunity. You know what? Opportunity happens to those who create them. I get fascinated by things, especially in Pakistan, in Sri Lanka, and places, less industrialized country. You know what they have? They have this ingenuity. They find the workaround model. My message to you is find the workaround model for yourself. You don't even know your own key. God put eyes in front of your face, not in the back of your head. That tells you what? Every one of us have a blind spot. Except blind people are aware of it. A lot of people are not. The message I have for you is don't take the easy way out. Challenge yourself before you start challenging other people. Concept is simple, standard, read in textbooks. How many people want to do it? I challenge you. Rather than telling somebody, do something for me, first do it yourself. Then come up with a solution before you approach that problem with someone else. So take the step, take the risk, rewrite the rules so others can follow the goodness and the legacy and success you have created for a long, sustainability model ahead.
Beautiful. What a beautiful message. If you could change one thing in the system, in the education or employment or social attitude to make society more inclusive, what it could be?
I think one of the things is thinking, right? So, it's a very simple concept. But if you actually look at it, and I'll give an example. I love giving examples because it sort of makes things real for me, makes more sense to me. So it's not textbook-like. If you look in today's day and age, we think about the virus and the corruption of thinking. I think it was a three-star general who once quoted, he said, whenever you see a catastrophic failure, it is not predicated on one element. It's the multiple fractures at multiple chains. What we have today is this. We have become complacent. This is how it's been. This is how we do. We don't practice even faith anymore. We practice culture. Culture is rich, but richness is rich to the goodness. It's not rich because of silos. Whenever you have a conflict between faith and a culture, you'll notice something. It is man-made somewhere. The culture. So to change the culture, I think what needs to happen is to have conversations. Loneliness. Even right now, I think both Harvard is studying loneliness, a couple of other large think tanks are looking at. We have a lot of loneliness. And it's triggering across not only differently able, but our older generation. Why is that happening? Because people are no longer talking. When you talk to somebody about situation, have a conversation, it changes human thinking. We define that. That's the problem we have. If one thing I could change, take a step to say hello to a stranger. Get to know people next to you. And I have a big country song singer, right, kind of thing. And there's Tim McGraw has a great song. He says, there's metal bars on my heart. I don't know who my neighbors are. And that is the technology hurdle and barrier. And it's hurting every level. And if it hurts general mainstream individual, it affects a differently able twice as much. So I think that's one thing I would change is your interaction. Change your thinking and rewrite the rules.
Thank you, Moaz Khan. We had a fascinating talk with you. Thank you for your sharing your incredible journey and the power inside your thoughts. I sincerely feel that your story is a story that everybody should hear, who is a blind, who is disabled in one way or the other. It's a realization of your vision, purpose to live, and your leadership, which you have shown in the form of your organization. I am truly honored to do this podcast with you.
Absolutely, and it's been a pleasure and the opportunity. I'm lucky to be in your company, and I always say I'm a better man and a leader when I'm in the company of loved ones like yourself and those that are around us.
You know, Moaz Khan's father is Hamid Khan. He's a friend of ours. He's a very close friend of my brother-in-law, Anwar Lodi, who both are instrumental in bringing this interview together. I want to thank Anwar Lodi and Hamid Khan for making this happen today. And most of all, Moaz Khan, who has shared with us one personal story. Moaz Khan's white cane has fascinated me. And if I can make one appeal to all of you, donate generously to his organization. Even if you give a very small amount, your small amount will go towards making people see, blind men see through a white cane. This is the greatest donation you can give to the people who cannot see. Some of the amazing work he is doing it, our support with it, whatever we can do in Houston, and our capacity will support your organization. Thank you once again for coming to Ankahi channel for this fascinating interview by Moaz Khan. Thank you very much.
Thanks.